It's Miss Ryman. I'm just wanting to take you outside a little bit here and teach you more about perimeter. This is the camera that I don't usually use for video camera work, so bear with me. It might take me a while to get some things set up for each problem. So we're learning about perimeter. Remember, and perimeter is the distance around an object, and this object has to have straight sides. It cannot be a circle, an oval, or anything that has curved sides. There is something different for that, which you'll learn not in 3rd grade. And you also have to have a unit of measure. It could be feet, it could be inches, it could be centimeters, it could be yards, or miles, depending on what you are measuring. You can also sometimes have what we just call unit. If it's a shape and it doesn't have a specific type of thing that you're measuring in, like feet or inches, and it's just kind of generic, then we would call it units. So let's look at our paver blocks here, and we're going to measure the distance around one of these paver blocks. And if I find the distance around one of them, probably it's the distance around all of them because they were made all the same. Alrighty, 3rd graders, so these are the paver blocks that I'm going to measure the distance around. Alright, and we're going to do this one specifically. Now remember, the distance around, that means that I have to measure all 4 sides, and then I need to add them all together. So I'm using a tape measure. Now maybe you have one of these at home and you can use this for your assignment, or maybe you don't. Now we use tape measures when it is something that's really long, and rulers when it's something that's smaller than a piece of paper. Alright, so let's get started finding the measurement of side 1 here. So I line up my ruler, or in this case my tape measure, and it's a little tricky here. I got it all lined up, and it looks like it is at 18 inches. So on my recording, I'm gonna write 18 inches because we are measuring in inches. Alright, so let's check out the other sides. Alright, side 2 here. Ooh, look at that. It's also at 18 inches, so I better record that here. And I'm not going to measure or write inches down because I already know that I'm measuring in inches. Side 3 here. Ooh, look at that. 18 too. Write that down. And the 4th side right here at the top. Ooh, and look at that one. It is at 18 also. So I have measured all 4 sides of this paver. I've written them all down, and now I need to add them up. Well, so if I know my multiplying, 8 times 4 is 32. Carry my new group of 3. Ooh, and I better add my plus sign in there, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, I'm not done yet. That is how many inches are all the way around this paver block, or the one that I really did measure. But that means though that I need to make sure to include my label. So around my paver block is 72 inches in its perimeter. Hello again, it's Miss Ryman teaching you more about perimeter, but I wanted to share with you my garden. So here is my garden, and as you can see around my garden I have this edger, and that did not used to be around my garden. So when they put it in, my parents had to measure the distance around our garden. So I'm going to set up my camera here, and I'm going to measure every single side. But before we do, let's look here. I have a little side right here. So that's 1. I have 1, 2, 3, a big one back here, 4, 1 right here, 5, and 6. Now I'm going to pretend that this has corners, alright? I know it doesn't have real corners, but I'm going to pretend it does. So I am finding the perimeter of this hexagonal shape, so that means that I need to have 6 different measurements that I need to add together. I am wondering if I should measure this in inches or feet or yards or even centimeters. And when I'm looking at this space, I can see that it's really big, and I don't think that inches really makes the most sense, and centimeters are smaller than inches, so that definitely doesn't make sense. So I'm going to use feet for now, but I could probably also use yards. I cannot use miles because it is not the whole length of a mile. Alright, so I'm going to use feet to measure the perimeter of my garden. Alrighty, third graders. Whew, that was hard work because, as you can tell, my garden is pretty big, right? Alright, so I found the length of every single side, all 6 of them. And now the next job that I have to do is to add them all up together. So let's look at what I found here. So side 1 was 25 feet. Side 2 was this was side 1 right by me. Side 2, going down to the middle of my garden, was 30. Then this one was in front of the arbor, that white thing, was 7 feet, then 30 feet, then 25, and then all the way in the back, 55 feet. I had to use my tape measure 2 times and then add 5 extra feet because my tape wasn't. Alright, so now I'm going to add it all up here. Oh, and I'm definitely warm here. Alright, so first I'm going to number bond some of these together. I can see here that 25 and 25 is going to be 50, and then 30 and 30 is going to be 60. Can't forget my 7, and then another 55 here. So then that's going to be 7 plus 5 is 12. Oh, plus sign. Carry my new group. Then I have 1 plus 5 is 6, plus 6 more is 12, plus 5 more is 17. So my garden, the perimeter around my garden was 172 feet. Woo! That is a huge perimeter around my garden. So that is what my parents needed to measure before they could put down or have a company come out and put down the paver around my garden. All right, well, let's keep looking for perimeter examples. I'm doing my garden here, and here's that arbor I was talking to you about and the short little side. Inside my garden, we have these 2 raised vegetable garden beds, and these beds are actually really old. They're like 15 years old, and you can tell because they're all got gross stuff on them, they're falling apart. And actually, the reason why I brought you to these was because for Mother's Day and my mom's birthday, I'm gonna make her some new beds. But my mom said she wants them to be exactly the same size. So I need to figure out how big they are by measuring the distance around these beds, because that is then gonna tell me how much material I'm gonna need to buy at the store. So the first thing I do when I see a perimeter problem is I like to write down how many sides I have. And that way when I'm measuring, I don't forget a side because I will have data right across from where I labeled where it should be. So we're doing my mom's garden bed. So there are 4 sides. So I'm going to do side 1, side 2, side 3, and side 4. All right, here we go. We're going to do the short side right here as side 1. So I'm going to measure all the way, line up my my tape measure here, and it is 4 feet on this side. So write that down. All right, next side. And we're gonna measure this long side here. Careful of the sprinkler. All right, third graders, this one was a little different because not only was it 12 feet, but it also was almost 13 feet. And I can't forget about those extra inches, so I need to record those inches too, because that is gonna help me figure out the whole distance around. It's still part of it, even though it's inches and not feet. So it measured to be 12 feet, 8 inches. All right, let's keep measuring. Starting to rain out here, so we're going to wrap it up here. So the third side was that short side in the back, and that was also 4 feet, and then the long side here was also 12 feet 8 inches. And you're probably wondering, well, of course, Miss Ryman, it's a rectangle, so opposite sides are the same length. Well, let's add up all of our stuff here, including our inches, but you can see it is starting to drizzle a little bit, so we're going to move before we come back to that. We are away from the rain now, so it's nice and dry. So now we can take the time, just wiping off our board here, to add up the perimeter. Remember, I just measured that garden bed over there that I'm gonna make my mom new ones up. Here's my work. So the short side has 4 feet and 4 feet, and then the 2 long sides have 12 feet and 8 inches. Now wait, weren't we measuring in feet? Yes, we were, but we can't forget about those 8 inches because otherwise my math would not be right. So we're going to ignore those first. All right, and I'm going to just draw us a picture on the side over here too. Here is our rectangular bed. Now, Miss Ryman, we know this already. I know because I remember teaching you this. But in a rectangle, opposite sides are the same length. Otherwise, it can't be a rectangle. So did I really need to measure all 4 of these sides? No, I really only needed to measure this side and a short side and then a long side. And then I would have automatically known that this third side, the other short one, because it's opposite, would be 4 feet. And the one that's opposite would have been 12 feet. So 4 plus 4 is 8 feet. 12 feet plus 12 feet is another 24 feet. And then I have 8 inches plus 8 inches. Now, we haven't talked about conversions a lot in measuring, but I know, and I'm going to tell you, that in 1 foot is 12 inches. So here I have 16 total inches. And in 16, I can break that apart into 4 plus 12. So that 12 now is taking apart that I have 1 whole extra foot. So now up here by 8 feet plus 24 feet, I have 1 extra foot that I converted from my inches. Okay, I can't forget about those 4 extra inches though, because those are going to then be part of my final answer. So I'm going to put big circle around them so I don't forget. All right, so let's add this up. 8 plus 24 is 32, plus 1 more foot is 33 feet. It has 33 feet and 4 inches. So I need all of that. I couldn't get just 33 feet of material because then I wouldn't have enough for those extra 4 inches. So when I go to get material, I'm going to need to get a lot of boards, but ultimately, to go all the way around it, I'm going to need 33 feet, 4 inches. All right.